For the UK particularly, Brexit is not done. It's maybe at best halfway through. We have at least a decade, if not two, of more discussions and confusions about what we do next. This is also likely to cause a lot of tensions within the UK, questions of whether Scotland might want to have another independence referendum, I think, are going to become a lot more pressing during this year. There's an option to become a global Britain. There's also an option to become a country that turns in on itself, that closes itself off from the world. Perhaps most important to keep in mind is that this is unlike other trade agreements that you have, that Brazil has made with its neighbours and other countries around the world, which have been about removing barriers. This is actually about introducing new barriers to trade. Whilst there aren't any quotas or tariffs on goods moving between the UK and the EU, there will now be a set of additional checks on standards, on the safety of food products and animals moving across. There's going to be new limits on people moving, whether that's for work or for study. The first couple of days, things seem to have gone quite smoothly, but that's because a lot of traders have made a conscious decision not to try and move goods across the border because they're not sure about what the situation was going to be. Services has been really has suffered on that side of it, and it's hard to see how that will change in the coming years. Services is a huge part of the British economy, and there isn't that kind of preferential access that you might have hoped for, and that a lot of people in the UK, there was some worries in past years that lots of people would move out of London to Paris, to Frankfurt, to other European centres. And whilst we've seen a bit of that, some of what you can do with services is about providing services in my country to your country without barriers. But that requires recognition of standards, of qualifications, which is a very difficult area, even within the EU. The years since the referendum in 2016 about leaving the EU have really been quite damaging to trust between the two sides. I think the UK's British government is relieved to have a deal, to not have to worry about a no-deal Brexit on top of a major COVID wave and outbreak. I think the EU is actually probably more disappointed that it hasn't been able to build a stronger relationship at this point. For both sides, this was becoming just a very toxic kind of relationship, very hard negotiations, and not a lot of love between the two sides. I think what's really interesting, though, is will this next year, this new year, bring the start of a more constructive relationship, or are we simply going to have the UK being as unhappy on the outside of the EU as it was on the inside?